Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to my keynote speech. I am now allowed to answer questions. And I get very excited. Where's Nathan? Nathan, hold up your microphone. There are 2 rules for the microphone. Rule number 1, only Nathan can hold it. Rule number 2, you cannot. That's it. It's very simple. Now, we only have about 10 minutes for this, so this is going to be like the speed round. But let me tell you this. I get asked questions all over the country. And every time I do one of these, I come home to my wife and she says, did anybody ask you any interesting questions? And I say, yes. Somebody asked me what bipolar disorder is. And that is the moment that my wife dies a little on the inside. Because even though I have answered this question for her no less than 100 times, I am now on autopilot. And I will explain to the woman I have been married to for 10 years what bipolar is. Because, you know, she doesn't know. It's like mansplaining on bipolar. Terrible thing. So, dig deep and think about a question that is so good that when I say, well, somebody asked me this, my wife's eyes just get gigantic and she says, oh my God, what did you say? My marriage depends on it. Throw up a hand. Over here, hers was first. Plus, she won an award. She's on television. I don't play favorites, though. She was honestly first. She wasn't first.
Well, you talked about, sorry, I won't touch the microphone. You talked about your worst moments. What is your best moment?
Oh, there's 2. Honestly, and they're separated. My absolute best moment was, so recovery with bipolar disorder, it's not like there's a date, right? It's not like you're like, oh, hey, I'm recovered today, and then you move on. But there's this moment when you're just like doing your thing, right? You're going to work, or you're complaining about your spouse, or you're stuck in traffic, and you're like, I haven't had any symptoms or problems in like a year. Like, that's a really, really good moment. But you never really remember the date, right? You just kind of think about it. But I know how that moment feels. So that moment is absolutely in there. But that's lame, and I just have to say that for the cameras, right? The absolute best moment in my entire life was being invited and getting to speak at Oxford University. The oldest learning institution in the world let me speak there. And like, they checked my credentials, and I asked multiple times, this is the right Gabriel Howard, right? They assured me that it was. I never thought in a million years that I would be asked to speak at Columbus Community College. See, I localized it because I live here and I didn't have to Google. But it is a great honor for me, but I want to say sincerely, look how far we have come. There are nonprofit boards to help people with mental illness that don't have people living with mental illness on their boards. There are all across the nation. I'm not picking on anyone. There's whole panels of people who are talking about how to help people with mental illness, and that panel doesn't include a person living with mental illness. But Oxford realized, hey, why don't we just ask somebody who's sick how we can help? And that gives me just such incredible hope as a mental health advocate. I do question their choice, but I was glad to do it. Thank you so much.